So I've seen the first episode, and the main thing that like we took from it was it felt like the pilot, where I don't even know what's happening anymore, but it's awesome, and I'm in, and I love it. Is that kind of something you guys wanted to go for? Is like just break everything open and go crazy?
Yeah, I think so. I think we wanted to really start it off with a bang, and introduce Ari's first character or characters, and throw a number of our characters into really tough situations. Sarah's in a situation that she would have never expected to have to pull off, and I think Delphine too is in a very interesting and new place in this season.
So I interviewed actually David and Ivan at Double Street at the end of season 1. And you mentioned that you guys had sort of a 5-season plan. So how closely are you guys kind of sticking to that, or are there some kind of changes and new avenues that you've discovered going through a couple seasons now?
We're still, it's a loose plan. It's a loose master plan. But I think that season 3 loosely, the arc of season 3 is loosely what we envisioned. Maybe not at the beginning of season 1, but maybe by the beginning of season 2, we were seeing discovering where we knew we wanted to introduce male clones at the end of season 2. So, and we knew some of the things that we wanted, some of the revelations about that we already had. So in one sense, like that, it's close to what we envisioned. On the other hand, we are always flexible enough that it's to sort of roll with the punches and be quick on our feet. For instance, we didn't know that it was going to be Ari Millen's character that was the male. That came about because we discovered a really fine actor, and we decided not to kill him, and then we decided that maybe it could be him, and that the show would double back on itself, and the revelation would come from our own cast rather than hiring someone new, which we kind of thought we would bring in a brand new person, but going back to our own cast and selecting Ari from that really helps draw it together.
Is there a character that has sprung forward based on not something that you originally thought would happen to them, but just how they've developed that it's become more interesting than you even thought it would become?
Yep. Christian Brun's character, Donnie. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's certainly, the moment when he pulled the trigger on Dr. Leakey, I think that's when everybody was like, Donnie rocks! And it was partly that moment and that discovery that gave us Allison and Donnie's character arc as a couple for the third season, because we'd only seen them fractured, and Donnie was a schlub, and then he was an agent, and then he was a liar, and then he's back to being a schlub. But then they bond over this, they bond to protect their family. They come together over the slaying of Dr. Leakey. And now we get to see them together, which is, we get to see Team Hendrix in all their perverted glory.
Right now we almost have like an Adam and an Eve at this point. When it comes to the clowns, you've got the males, you've got the females. Are we going to see other characters that may be clones, or are we going to be looking at clones of these two specifically?
I don't want to do any other clones. not yet. No, I think we definitely would focus on these two great actors.
You wrote most, like all the seasons. Is there for season 3? Is there a most intriguing character that you found most interesting to write and most intriguing to write for this season?
Yeah. Definitely. Delphine this year. Very, very conflicted. Revealing something much different than we've seen before, challenging the audience with what their expectations are of that character and what they want from that character versus what the character is going to be able to give us, and a very a performance throughout the season that walks this tightrope of of keeping this promise that you made in the second season, that I will love all your sisters equally, and having to take on, having to become go deeper into the beast in order to keep them safe, making those sacrifices and not necessarily being a good guy to fulfill the promise, and also Paul, and it's kind of a similar character story for Paul, where he's a guy he's been even more of a double agent, and but where is his heart? Where does his heart lie? And it was really a nice journey with Paul this year, discovering where his heart lies. So those were two very complex and very hard to write character lines that I think really play nicely and very, very Orphan Black.
Last season, you guys had the little challenge of the 4-clone dance party. Did you guys have something similar for this season?
Oh, you can't keep John Fawcett away from his giant finale clone scene. I can't give it away, but yes, we do another great big clone scene in the finale, and I've seen a cut of it, and it's pretty awesome.
They're like 3 or 4 days to film this one.
Yeah.
As a writer, I'm sure you get really attached to the characters. I mean, these are babies. Is there ever a point when you're saying, "Oh wait, no, I'm making this too hard on this character," or Delphine's gone through too much at this point, I can't put her through anything else? Or do you just say, "Fuck it, let's do it"?
No, I know. I agonize over how much pain we put them through. Even Helena, who can hack it, who can take it. It's like, are we just being too mean to Helena? Can we just give her a lollipop and feel better? Some Jello. Yeah, we do agonize over it, but that's drama. The harder you make it on the characters, the greater the triumph if they can come out of it.
Do you ever foresee a situation where Sarah will be able to stop running? I mean, now that Kira is like this prize, and I mean, it's the whole crux of the show, but as your creation, I mean, does it...
Maybe in the final minute of the series.
Do you have an end in sight? I mean, do you know how the story's going to end?
Again, loosely, we've always known where we think it ends, yes. Yeah, we've always known the end of the mystery.
Now, as you just mentioned, series versus season, American television versus British television. Obviously, British television, it's a little tighter. You have less episodes. You have, 13 hours or so to tell the story as opposed to 22, 23. How does that affect you when you're going into the writing process?
To have a 10-episode season?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're really comfortable with 10, and we don't want it to make it more because it's a mystery, and we don't want it to spin its wheels. We want to keep the pace. 10 episodes allows us to keep the pace. If we went 13, I think the air would come out a little bit, and Tatiana might just collapse.
Sure.
Thank you so
Is that
much.
it?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.